Howdy, howdy, howdy! Hey, how's everybody in there doing? I'm Barry Coffey, your host today. Yeah, been a lovely in East Tennessee. It's been kind of nice out. I thought about nice getting a Harley. It stays pretty nicely. Yeah, do a clean, good ride to feel the air. Good air, good energy, good vibes. You know, it's yeah, good exercise. Feel that fresh air and everything. Now, to get the mood going, everybody just kind of relax. Take in a deep breath. Let it out. One more time. Deep breath. Relax. In the shoulders, get the neck kind of focused. Um, you know, a lot of good vibes come. Yeah, just kind of relaxing and just feeling the atmosphere, just listening to the sounds, just listening to the quiet, just listening. Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's a good day. I was realizing that the sun gives some good energy. If you get up early in the morning when the sun starts coming out and just look at the sun for a while, you draw energy from the sun through the eyes. Yeah. But you can only do it at a certain time of the day. Any other time, it will burn your eyes. As it goes down, we can look directly in the sun. That's one of the reasons why people, it ain't just that it's beautiful to watch the sunset and all that, is that they're getting energy from it. And a lot of them are not aware of it, but they are getting energy from the sun. It's good vibes. They feel relaxed. They feel at peace. The feeling, you know. And it's a lot of uh, good stuff out there. You know, I don't know a whole lot about the sixth, seventh dimension. I know the first dimension is where everything's all corrupt. Second dimension, we're getting down. The third, the fourth dimension is where we're deciding to filter out bad energy, good energy, trying to decide which way to go. Do I want to believe in God? Do I want to believe in Buddha? Do I want to go to Tao? Then we go into the fifth dimension where we have went through a psychic change. Transformed into a different person. You know, and I was listening to one of my workshops today that I went go doing this weekend on a shaman energy training, and I've heard some stuff on there. Um, and something came to my mind that was spoken to me from the Great Spirit. We always say we got our soulmate, we're looking for a soulmate, and we're doing that. Well, I found out, and I pretty much knew it. I just finally put it in words, and God spoke to me. Is that my soulmate is not who I meet today. My soulmate was the person I met years before another lifetime. And if I was to look for my soulmate, I may not find it in the next lifetime, this lifetime, or the other lifetime. And if I married everybody that I thought was my soulmate, I'd be gay, bisexual, whatever, because I connect with a lot of people from my past life. You know, the ravens, the same totems, the same stuff. We were connected in other lifetimes where our past lives have come together, and that's like this person that we always call them, it's somebody that I have fallen in love with, that I'm there to be with that person, and I forget all about my soulmate. I'm here for this person, and I'm going to be here for that person. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be attached to this person. It doesn't mean I want to be down worship this person. I'm not. I'm there. I love this person enough that I would die for this person. You know, and that's what Jesus was talking about. And there's a lot of stuff that I've been learning a lot of over the years, and this is our 40-day Lent. The 40 days of fasting, the 40 days preparing, the 4 days of praying till Easter, the Passovers. And there's a lot of Passovers going on, and we're going through some changes. And the change, the spring cleaning, doing things different. You know, um, good guy I listen to, that I like to listen to, is Archie Bailey. He's an Israeli preacher, and I love the way he talks about the Passover. And it really touches you. I don't really hear his words, but I feel his words, and I feel a lot of what he's talking about, and I feel the Spirit guiding me that direction. You know, and we all, there's an old saying, there was years disappeared when Jesus, he was 12, he was this, now. But if you really understand the way I understood it, is that Joseph had to move. That there was the Prayer wanted to kill Jesus, the second coming of Christ. And he moved down to, you could say, Africa. Well, it's pretty much, they went in, if you really think about it, they went under the grit, you know. And we don't know. Jesus could be preparing. He could be learning. He could be, getting knowledge, reading stuff. You ever seen the Alexander the Great, where Ben Kilmore was taking him in there and he's showing him the great warriors, they're good and the bad, and he was writing down stuff and all that, and they became a great warrior, the king? Well, something like Jesus did that, but it was best that we didn't know where Jesus, because somebody would say, hey, yeah, man, the Messiah, he's down there. And then, next thing you know, the army's going to go down there and kill him. And, when he appeared, and this is what's weird, he appeared at the age 30. Now, this is where, the deal is okay. He didn't say he was a Messiah. He didn't say he was a healer and everything. He was like, now how can I get these people's attention? Oh, I know. I'll give this man sight. And this is what's real tricky. He's had brothers, sisters, mom and dad and everything and all that can see, but he was born blind because of what his ancestors did. Why was he punished out of all these people? And not only that, Jesus knew that. Kind of makes you think, what? Because the man committed sin in his past life, and he was born again blind for his mistake. And when Jesus, he figured the only way to do it was to make a miracle, and he gave the guy eyesight. And the non-believers came in, oh, the guy was, faking it. The guy was, a bunch of bull. But it got people's attention. Now people want to listen. And this is how you got to watch with prophecies. You've got to set out something that people will listen. And they followed him. And he never said, I'm a Messiah, I'm God, I'm this and that. He was a great healer. He healed people. People got blessed when he touched his cloth. He did a lot of great things. He raised the dead. He did things. Now, this is the thing that you listen to, is that they asked him, "Are you the Messiah?" And he said, and this is quote, he didn't say he was, and he did not deny it. He said, "I am who you say I am," which indicating you're the one saying he is the Messiah. He didn't deny it. Now, don't get me wrong, he did not deny it. And he didn't say he was. But he said, "I am who you say I am." And it's what really scared him, scared people, because they know that it was in their choice. It was in their, and what Jesus was doing was giving them the choice what to do. And it fell back on them, you know. And it's like Buddha. Buddha became a Buddhist. He studied, he read, he learned. He was a man of peace. He believed in giving life than taking life. You know, he didn't heal or anything. And he never said he was a god. He never said he was a Messiah. But he never healed anybody, and he never came back from the grave, and he never, he was a guy that did great wisdom. Moses did a lot of great wisdom in his time and stuff. It's letting people know you're out there. But Jesus could be a guy that could heal and showed us a way we can go after life. Said, "Pick up my cross. Who picks up my cross and follow me have everlasting life." You know, and the thing is, it's a lot of myths and quote a lot of stuff. Is people read the Bible and they quote it, but they don't put it all together. And when you put all this together, it makes a lot more sense. But religious, like, "Oh, don't go there. You're going against the." No, I'm going what is written. I have not interpreted it. I read what's written, and I read and I talk what I get out of it. And I'm not saying this is what you got to. I'm saying this is what I'm reading, and this is what I'm getting out of the whole thing. I've listened to pastors almost touch on it. I've listened to other, different beliefs, radios. I've heard people preach it in different ways, and it just comes together, you know. And that's the thing, is that we're preparing ourselves, and I wouldn't go out and fast it for 40 days because I'm a diabetic, but I have read stuff that I take too, but I'm preparing for the great Passover. And Easter, is a lot of different cultures celebrate Easter, you know. It was when the Lynch, the 40 days that Jesus was out in the woods for 40 days fasting. And at the time he was out there, we don't know what he was doing out there. We do know he was tempted by Satan. We do know that Satan tried to condemn him, try to get him to follow him. He got him because Jesus hasn't ate, hasn't drank. So Satan likes to work at your weakest, but it didn't work. But then when Jesus came back, they had this Lord's Supper, they had this feast, they had this deal. And he even knew Judas was going to betray him. It was a plan that happened. He comes back, and that's when he let people know who he was, and that's when they killed him. And see, all these years he's been in hiding, and he comes out because he is prepared. He had prepared these 12 disciples. When he picked them, he said that, he didn't say, I want you to be fisher men, go get more people and follow us. He said, fishers of men. Now, if you really want to know what the true meaning of fisher of men is, some people saying that's recruit people, and that kind of is, but it's pretty much saying, I want to teach you to teach men to teach themselves to teach others. The same thing as hypnotherapist is, I'm teaching you how to hypnotize yourself and help edge others. You know, teachers helping teachers, helping teachers, helping teachers. Parents teaching their youngins to teach their children, and children teach their children's. And we got to learn different behaviors. We got to learn from stuff. I learned from everything I go around. You know, the energy healing is actually comes from the meditation, the earth magic of going out and just feeling the earth and the magic and everything going in and then breathing it out through the air. The more we do this, the better it gets. Um, at first, it just seems like you're just blowing in the wind. Something just seems like you're just sitting there. But the more you do this, the more you practice it, the more it starts working. The more you do it, the more you get in touch. Sometimes you'll start seeing visions. Sometimes you'll be like me. I'm hearing it and I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, I got something to talk about tonight. Okay. You follow the instance, and a lot of times, like the silence in that. Silence is not saying a word, not anything. It's listening to other thoughts. It's listening to other things, listening to nurture, listening to sounds. Sometimes I don't know if, but like faucet running or a sound moving, it sounds like I can hear somebody talking through the voice. It's like there's a voice or a music or something coming out of that sound. And I'm sitting there trying to think, no one tell them, the phony world will call you crazy. But spiritual realm where everything is real, they're like, yeah, I get that, man. I get it. It's cool. It's real. You know, it's a lot of misinterpreting a lot of stuff. But I mean, read stuff, check out, learn energy, burn a candle. I have this candle here. That's the evil eye. It's called the protected candle, is what it is. And when you light it, I'm safe. I'm protected by the universe, and it has a glass in it like that. I've used it, so I couldn't show you, but it has a little glass eyeball and that. And I like that. To protect of the bad spirits. It protects me of the energy, bad energy, and that. Before I moved here, I was living in an apartment, and I kept seeing demons, monitors trying to come in the wall, but they couldn't come in because I had a lot of sage. I had a lot of, pyramid protection, blood of Christ all over my house. Nobody come in. But when I moved over here, I've never seen anything try to attack. I mean, I blessed my house, I protect it, but I don't have any bad energy over here. And I go to sleep. Of course, the cats around here, they make you feel like somebody's breaking it in. They're making the cats probably scare everybody off, don't they? But I'm bored myself. But it's a lot of wisdom out there, and there's a lot of knowledge out there, and there's a lot of stuff that we can absorb to better ourselves, to help better other people. You know, We got spirit guides that teach us the stuff. They got things that come in. Um, Native American, it's all a ceremony in that. In Dill, as I'm going through the journey through these 40 days, and I'm learning as I go, and I'm learning from you guys. And if you guys have any chance, drop me a message in the chat room. And any questions, just send me a chat. Uh, I want you to just sit there and think for a moment. Just feel something. Just don't say nothing. Don't even think about that. Just sit there for a few minutes. Just sit. So, how was that? I bet you know something you didn't even know you had. Yeah, but I mean, it's finding a spot and just setting and just watching and just letting your mind go. You know, just watching how, describing what you see in that, and don't think of anything. You're just focusing on something, and you're looking at it, and you're looking at how they are. They're walking, they're talking, you're actually just what is coming to your mind is what is doing in front of you. It's not thinking of what they're doing. You're looking at like saying a script. They're doing this and this, but not really knowing what they're talking about or anything. But they're talking. And a lot of times we do that with ourselves. We do stuff without realizing we're doing it. You know, and it's something I've done by accident. It's just that I just stare and I just look, and I can sit there for hours. And to the phony world, that don't mean anything, but to me, it means I'm at peace. I'm relaxed. I'm not focusing on negative. I'm not focusing on bad vibes. I'm not worried about nothing or anything. I'm just sitting there staring at the moment. I am focusing on mindfulness right now. And I've done this when I get some anger issues, I get into a negative thought or something. I will take my focus somewhere else. And I will stay on that focus until that fades away. Let it go. You know, I try not to, and I say the word try. Human nature, we want to sit there and pester it and feed into it and water it, make it grow, which there's no value in it. You can't sell it. You know, yeah. Now, so get comfortable. Put your feet on the floor. If we're going to go on our journey today, yeah, feel comfortable. Get your feet on the floor, hands down the side. Just feel relaxed, and yeah. And I want you to focus on your breathing. And when you inhale, you know, 1, 2, 3, hold it. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move in. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should be, at this time, your eyes beginning to close. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Still breathing. Concentrating on your breathing. Just breathing. Now breathe normally. Just feel good. Now relax. And feel real relaxed.